And here we are, once again, at the precipice of a new year for the channel. My 3rd year anniversary. The Mighty Emperor has been going on strong for 3 whole years now, and it has been a wild ride. I have seen a lot of change in the way I produce videos, in the way viewers interact with me, and the way I perceive my own channel. During this amount of time, there's been a lot of change in my life outside of the channel, and, in fact, the world itself, as I'm sure all of us know. So this year has been one of reflection for the 3rd anniversary for me, as there has been a lot to think on. For a start though, perhaps the biggest and most clear is the progression of my subscriber count. During the 2nd anniversary, I believe I was on 677 subscribers. Well, here we have 1,429 subscribers. So I more than doubled the subscriber count of not just the past year, but the past 2 years combined in 1 year. That growth was absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe it was happening, but I'm so glad it did. And a big part to that success was that this year we witnessed the release of the first mainline Sonic game since Sonic Forces, which had been, I believe, a 5-year gap by this point, with Sonic Frontiers. A big game that not only the community, but even myself were very excited for. Lots of anticipation, fear as well, but it was a magical time. And it was the first time for my channel, and thus for myself, where I was able to cover the hype cycle of a new game not only being announced, but slowly being revealed up until the day it came out. I got to be a part of that, because until Frontiers, everything else had really already happened by the time I started doing this YouTube channel. And it was a very different experience. I had all sorts of people who'd never experienced my channel before coming over, hearing what I had to say, exchanging ideas in the comments section. I was being inspired by all sorts going around at the time. Following the leaks was super engaging. It was fun to speculate on if they would be true, try and cross-reference things to see if they can be accurate, and getting confirmations or deconfirmations of the official releases. There was so much going on, especially around the summertime leading up to November and the Frontiers release. But that was by no means the only thing that took place in the past year. I have continuously said that this channel is not just a Sonic channel, and I will continue to echo that sentiment. However, I won't pretend as if Sonic is not a very large part of the channel. So, my attempts at doing videos that were not related to Sonic had a very varying degree of success, usually tending towards failure, though I had a few, such as my Halo Infinite Criticism video, where I was wondering what happened to the Halo franchise. That did reasonably well. It's got over 2,000 views, which for a non-Sonic video is amongst the best of the best. I tried to expand the type of content I was covering this year. We still have discussions, sure. We have a couple reviews. But one of the newest brand of videos were theory videos. I don't think I'd ever done a serious theory video before. I've done a what-if scenario, but this was the first time I did theories. And the first one was Sonic Forces Reset Theory. This is back before we had a lot of concrete information on what Frontiers would be, and I had a lot of fun trying to look at the evidence, look at the leaks, speculate a bit, and put it together in a video. I felt like the thumbnail hit really hard, and the video itself was just straight to the point of the theory. And I guess a lot of you agreed with me, because that video did really well for the channel, and I was surprised by how well it did. A lot of the Frontiers coverage did better than my average, as to be expected, but the theory videos in particular seemed to strike a chord with viewers. I would later go on to do a second one with the illusion theory based on rumours of Infinite, and I'm assuming now that the Flame song was what people were mistaking for Infinite's theme. But regardless, I didn't know that at the time, so I built a theory around that. People liked it even more than the first one. And quite a bit later, after the game released and I actually had played through it and saw the story, I made one last theory, Chaos Theory, where I was trying to wrestle with some possible alterations to the Sonic lore and also just the new information. And that is my best performing video to date. 24,000 plus viewers on that video. All three of those theories are my top 3 performing videos, with 4th place going to Where Sonic Went Wrong, Sonic Forces. So, it goes without saying, Frontiers did a lot for the channel. Unfortunately though, after I did covered some of the Frontiers happenings around its release, it came to the point where my next step was to do a review for Sonic Frontiers. But I didn't really have the pull or desire to invest the amount of time needed to do a proper review. And with me, you either do it properly or you don't do it at all. And I just knew I didn't have it in me to give Frontiers the review it deserved, because it didn't have the same connection to me. With Forces, not only had it been out for numerous years at that point, so I had a history with it there, but I also genuinely disliked the game. So there was a fire to fuel me. With Frontiers, I didn't dislike the game. It also didn't make me fall in love with it. It was positive, but not by much. It was just a nice game. It's given me hope that the future looks bright. It set a lot of things up to be great in the future, but the game itself was just alright for me. So there was nothing really fueling me to do a in-depth deep dive review. I felt like my first impressions actually ended up being pretty reflective of my overall thoughts of the game. And the theory video, Chaos Theory, covered the only thing that really still had me intrigued after finishing the game. And sure, there's a couple things here and there I could have also said, but I didn't think I had the energy to do so, and so I didn't. And in fact, I took a bit of a break a little bit after that for the Christmas season. I did a couple more DLC videos for Frontiers. I tried YouTube Shorts for the first time this year, mostly just using old content to test the format out, but that was a new thing for me. Regardless, when I did eventually come back to making videos in January, I wanted to take a step back and figure out what type of videos I wanted to make. Because whilst the Frontiers period was very successful, very enjoyable, very fun, nearer the end to that, it did become something else, something I didn't want it to be. I've always strived to make this channel produce videos that I can be proud of, I can look back on, be happy with, and it can stand the test of time, that do not expire, that we're not chasing a fad, that have good information, something interesting, something worth coming back to. And the problem is, as I dive so deep into keeping up with Frontiers, because I myself was excited, quite a few of the videos I made during the latter half of the past year don't really have much relevance anymore. And that in and of itself isn't necessarily an issue, but it also got to the point where sometimes I made a video not because I wanted to, but because I felt like it would probably do well and it would make sense to do it, and I would rush to do something. I had less care in the videos, they were less unique, they started blending together, there was less editing going on, and I feel like I was starting to lose some of the soul that I had originally set out for. Now, was it successful? Yes, but it wasn't what I really wanted to do at a certain point. It wasn't me. So when I came back, I made a video on Sonic R's music. An obscure game, obscure topic. But it was something I was passionate about, that I cared about. So I went ahead and did it. Now, as of right now, the video hasn't performed very well, especially compared to the year it came out in. But I like the video. I do genuinely like the video. So I'm at a bit of a crossroads. Do I do what I want, but suffer heavily in the viewership? Or do I go to where I know the viewers are, but maybe suffer internally? Ultimately, I've decided to push on with reviews, because right from the beginning of the channel, what I always thought I was going to spend the most time on was doing reviews of games. In actuality, in the past 3 years, I think I've done 3 reviews, so that didn't go to plan, but I can start now. And my last video, as of right now, was Sonic Advance 2, A Mighty Retrospective. That video was supposed to come out around the summer period. However, unfortunately, I had a massive technological meltdown. Complete disaster. I lost a lot of things, and that video was one of the many things that got destroyed. I couldn't even record footage of Advance 2 at the time. That's how bad it was. I have since recovered a small amount of my technology. A lot of it is forever lost. So that was a big setback for me. However, just after then is when the Frontiers hype cycle really amped up, so I rode that and it worked out. But I did lose quite a bit, both YouTube related and otherwise. So anyway, I only got to doing it now, quite late. In fact, it had been over a year since the retrospective of Advance 1. Pretty ironic, but there we are. As we speak, I'm already in the process of making my next review, though I'm not going to announce it because, as I've noticed, whenever I announce something upcoming, it tends to be that something happens that causes that project to never see the light of day. So instead of promising things that never show up, I'm just going to say I am working on another review, and we'll see what happens. I've had some really nice interactions with viewers this year. One of my viewers, Mr. No Views, had even gifted me a copy of the game Freedom Planet. And I've played through the entire thing with all the characters, and I was going to do a review for that, but, well, as you probably can guess, things didn't work out. I still have the footage for that, and I'm pretty sure I still have my notes as well. So I could revive the project at some point, we'll have to see. And whilst we're on the train of failed projects, Mighty Emperor Sonic the Hedgehog was a project I was very passionate about last year. Very excited to get it out. Lots of custom assets, a whole game and a whole story, movesets, level designs, enemies that I all had created myself to share with everybody. However, once I did the introduction video, I noticed interest was minuscule. Not even a fraction of my viewer base clocked into it. And due to the amount of effort required to produce those types of videos, I ended up putting it on the shelf. And then, before I knew it, the year was over, and there is not a part 2. That's something else that I might bring back, or I might not. Sonic Movie 2 also happened this year. There was a lot going on for Sonic the Hedgehog, which compared to previous years, it's quite insane. It was a very interesting film. I enjoyed the experience. Perhaps not as much as I thought I would, but there was definitely good. It had a lot more than the first film for people who are fans of the games. There was a lot of artistic passion that definitely was apparent. And yeah, I was a fan of it. And I made a couple videos on that were pretty popular too. It was fun speculating on what could come next and talking about what they did really well in that film. Good time. And with Sonic Origins, the classic compilation, also coming out, there was plenty of new and old Sonic experiences back in the public domain. And seeing the Sonic series itself do so much better was very encouraging for someone who did mostly Sonic content. It made me feel like, okay, maybe this wasn't a complete mistake. Because sometimes it does feel that way. My thumbnails, I believe, once again have improved, which is good. I feel like they're a lot more precise on what they're delivering, and they are way better at attracting viewer attention. Some of them do verge the realm of clickbait, but I don't put things that have no relevance to the video. I may just embellish things to help get them clicked on, but once you enter the video, I play it simple and straight. And that's just the way YouTube works. I've done it for 3 years now. I've tried many different approaches. You really do have to chase the viewer's eye if you want them to come along, at least when you're in the level of obscurity that I'm in. So what comes next for the channel? Reviewing games, doing discussions on things that are happening, whether it's Sonic, a different game, game design, and maybe I'll revive some of those old projects if I find the time. Life's throwing a lot at me right now, and I don't know how it's all going to go. I've got some new things coming, I've got some questions coming. I put a lot of work into a lot of things, and a lot of them didn't pay out in return. But I'm going to keep moving forward, because it's only when you stop that you guarantee failure. Easy to be said, but it's true. It's true. And I would have to thank each and every one of you that have stuck around for this journey, or are new and are enjoying the breadth of content I already have. As I always say, art without a viewer is nothing at all. So it's all of you that help make what I do worthwhile, and I am forever thankful that I'm able to produce things people can find worth their time. There's not much more that can be said. I will try to do my best to improve and be better. I'm going to try and make sure this ship keeps sailing. Aiming for 5,000 subscribers by next year. Overly ambitious, for sure, but you've got to aim somewhere, and that's my new target. We smashed 1,000 before the year was even done, so 5,000's my next goal. We'll see how well I do. Thank you for watching this all the way to the end, and I do hope you have a great day. This is the Mighty Emperor, signing off.